this is Heidi from Konvent, and you're listening to the Dan Chan Show.
Hey Heidi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How have things been personally in Denmark for the last couple of years with everything that's been going on and then more stuff that's going on?
Yeah, well, it's been pretty hectic as with every other place in the world, I think. But our government has handled it all very well. Mm-hmm. So I think we made it out really, really well compared to a lot of other places. So I'm thankful for that.
Exactly. So you've just released your second full-length studio album called Down the Sun. After all that's happened, as you just said, is it good to finally have it out?
Yes, for sure. It's always a bit nerve-wracking to release a second album because you think maybe there's more expectations to it than before. But it's been really well, and it's been really welcomed by everyone. So that's a great relief for us.
Exactly. It's fantastic. Now, did the downtime over the pandemic expedite the recording and release of this album, or was it always planned for March 22?
It was actually planned for January. But yeah, so it's only a couple of months. It was pushed, but yeah, so it's been done for a pretty long time now. But that's totally fine for us. I mean, 2 months more or less. It's okay
matter. In the grand scheme of things. When was it recorded? Is it old now for you guys?
Yeah, it was recorded in the summer last year, and it was done and mastered. What? Sorry?
It's not too bad. That's not too long, I suppose.
No, not at all. No, but it was supposed to come out in January. So for us, it was just like when you have a record done, you just want to get it out as soon as possible.
Of course, I've been that.
And see the response.
As an ex-musician myself, I've been in that situation. It's almost like when you put an album out, you kind of all that you're building up, and all of a sudden it explodes, and it's not a secret anymore.
No, exactly.
It's a strange one. Now, what themes are predominantly behind your Black and Death Doom tracks?
It's mostly surrounded around the human thought patterns and how you have certain patterns in your life that you repeat, certain self-destructive cycles that you keep being in, and trying to, how do you break out of that? And how do you move on in your life, and how do you deal with trauma? And so it's really about like the darker sides of the human mind. We don't really have any happy-go-lucky love songs or anything, but maybe that's going to be on next record.
maybe you do a Ride the Lightning and stick a ballad on there or something like that.
Exactly.
So how do you like to write? How does it happen? Do you get in a room? Do you live near each other? Do you send files? How does it all happen in Konvent?
Well, me and Sarah, the guitarist, we come up with riffs. It could be either of us, and then we try and meet up, just me and her, and try and put it into a frame. Then we send it to the other guys, get to the rehearsal space, and then Julie puts her take on the drums, and usually maybe we have a sort of theme for Hygge to write lyrics about, and if we don't, she just goes ahead. But mostly when you start writing a riff and a song, as a bassist and as a guitarist, we usually have like a sort of feeling, this is what we want to convey. But then Hygge, of course, takes everything and just runs with it and just does her magic. Yeah. Is
it always a fun process, or is it sometimes it can be a headache, or is it always cathartic?
Oh, it depends on who you ask in the band.
What about you? I'm asking you because you're here.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I am not a big fan of writing music because I'm too detailed. I think too much about things, and I go back and forth, and then I like the song, and then I think it's the worst song in the world. And I felt that up and what? Yeah, exactly. And right up until when we had to record the album, I remember having a big discussion with the other people in the band, and was like, "Girls, I'm sorry, I don't think we can record this. It's not good enough." And they were all like, "No, we know you, Heidi. This is just what you do before we record. You're always like this before we record. You're gonna like it in the end." And now I'm like, okay, it's pretty good. Okay.
Well, that's interesting because I mean, how do you feel you're evolving as a band?
Um, I think we definitely did grow a lot as musicians, because sitting at home in lockdown, you can't really do anything else but try and rehearse and get better. But we also this time around like just said to ourselves, we're gonna just take in all the influences and other genres if we want to, and not hold ourselves back. Where in the first record we were maybe a little bit, oh, we're not gonna take a lot of black metal influences in because we don't want to confuse the listeners. But now we're just like, fuck it, we're gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I mean, this is goes back to, I mean, how did you guys get together? Because I believe in the grand scheme of it, you're quite new to your instruments. Am I right?
I've played bass for 7 years now.
So 7 years. When did you get together?
In 2015.
Wow. So you literally, tell me about it. How did it happen?
Well, it was, I really wanted to start playing in a band, and I was playing guitar a little bit at the time. And then none of the guys I knew from the music environment, none of them wanted to start a band with me because I wasn't good enough. Right. And then, yeah. But I think then my roommate, he was a drummer in another band, and he was helping a girl try to practice drums, and she wanted to start a band as well. So we got together, and the drummer's sister is Hygge, who is now our lead singer, and they both knew Sarah from the music scene, and they knew she had played guitar before. But Sarah was the only one who had played in a band before. None of the rest of us had played before. Mm-hmm. So that was a pretty new experience for all of us. So we're new, but we've been together for 7 years now, so it doesn't feel that new anymore.
So it's your first band then?
Yeah.
So you got your first band and you go and smash onto one of the biggest metal labels in Europe or the world, Napalm Records. How did that come about? Because I've been in lots of bands and it took me many years to get a deal, you know?
I think you need to have a really good group of people who is gonna say yes at the right times and say no at the right times as well. Yeah. And you need to be good friends as well. You need to be able to be with somebody that you can picture yourself spending a lot of time with. Of course. Yeah. And I think also just I'm usually very positive. Besides the record making, I'm positive. So with everything regarding all like the goals and everything we wanted with the band, I've always said from the beginning, we're going to get a record deal. We're going to play the festivals we want to. We're going to go on the big tours we want to. This is all going to happen. We just need to make it happen and just believe in it.
And you certainly do.
And yes, thank you. But of course, it's not just believing in it. You also have to do a lot of work.
Of course.
Yeah.
Apparently, I think I read somewhere that you stumbled upon your sound going back to when you first got together. You didn't plan on playing like a black and death doom sound. What when you first got together, what was the original idea?
Well, the first song we played, it was the only song we could play was White Stripes. And so that was the first thing we played. And then after like 2 rehearsals with that, only playing that one song again and again and again, me and Sarah was like, well, I think we have a few riffs we can maybe try and play. And since I was so new to the bass, it was so simple and slow, the riffs I had made. And the same with Sarah as well. And we just wanted to just sound heavy, evil, and we knew we wanted Hygge to have a growl vocals because we didn't want we didn't want it to sound like there was a girl in the band. We wanted people to get surprised and be like, listen to the band because they liked it and not because it was girls. Yeah. So yeah, and I don't know, it's a lot of people think that we have this idea to play doom metal from the beginning, and we often get asked to like list up your 10 favorite doom metal bands of all time, and we're like, oh, we don't listen to a lot of doom metal.
Who is it then? Who is your number one?
Oh, it would be Candlemass.
I knew it. Yeah, classic.
Yeah. Of course. The legends.
Now, I love the band name. I love your image. Who came up with the name? And how did it come about?
Well, I came up with the Danish name Cluster. which is convent in English.
Okay.
In Danish, yeah. So, but cluster was already taken, so we changed it to the English name, and then hygge, like the K instead of the C.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So that's how it came about, and we just liked like mysticism there is around surrounding like the church and nuns and convents, and it's so mysterious and so secretive, and like, yeah, we really like that.
Yeah.
Now,
how's the metal scene in Denmark these days?
Extremely good.
Yeah.
I would say. I think there's a big hype around Danish bands at the moment. Bands like Bæst, Møl, Myrkur, Vola. There's a lot of really great Danish metal bands at the moment. And I think we're trying to compete with the Swedes, because they've always had the lead.
Yeah, exactly.
When it came to metal bands, so now we're like taking our revenge and being like, we can do it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing, I've been to Copenhagen, and one thing I love about Denmark, and this is completely away from music, was when I went there, I bought into this whole mentality, the hygge lifestyle.
Yeah,
I love it. Is that ingrained in all Danish citizens? Because I love the coziness of it all. I mean, living in Barcelona now, I don't get to do that so often because it's always warm. But when I was in the UK, I love the cozy down, little fire, the candles burning. Is it a Danish thing?
Mm-hmm. Completely. I mean, it's everywhere. Every person in Denmark uses that word every day. Oh, that sounds hyggeligt. That would be so hygge. Or like for everything. And I think we try to practice that in the rehearsal space as well. We always end up like sitting, talking. We have like an electric fireplace and like lights everywhere, and like, so we just sit and talk for a long time before we start rehearsing, and just have snacks and just have a little hygge.
I love it. I love it. Now I have to ask this, and I wonder whether or not to say it to give it any gravity. However, all female bands are becoming the new norm. You know, we're moving away from a very heavy male dominated genre. I'm thinking, what bands spring to mind? Nervosa, Burning Wishes, yourselves. With that in mind, have you experienced any pathetic sexism since you started?
It wasn't that serious in the beginning. It's coming more and more. The more traction and the more attention we get, the more we experience these things. It's often like really, really bad questions we could get from like shitty journalists. We got one from a Danish magazine about like, I'm going to be serious now and ask you, like, what do you think about all the people here in Denmark that think you just screw your way to where you are, and people don't listen to you because you look good on stage and stuff like that. And it's like, how do you expect me to answer this? Because if I say, oh yes, they only listen to us because we're pretty, that would also be saying, so all of our fans are stupid? Because who would want to spend time listening to music or buying a ticket to somebody only to see pretty girls? I mean, that's not what we are, and that's not what our fans are about. And I know that the fans love it because they love the music, and not because we're girls. I
mean, you touched up on it a few minutes ago. I suppose people are always surprised when they Google the band after hearing you and discovering that you are kick-ass women. Especially that voice. Do you get do people ever go, what the fuck, you know? Do you get that a lot?
Especially because Rikke is such a sweet and like normal girl.
Hygge girl.
And she has like an office. What?
She's a hygge girl.
Yes, exactly. She has like a 9-to-5 office job, and then she just goes on stage in the weekends and become a monster.
Amazing. Now, what first got you into metal? What bands got you to pick up the guitar when you said it first and want to start a band? What was it?
What it was to why I wanted to start the band?
Oh no!
Or
what music? What music were you listening to that made you go, right? That's it. I've got to do this.
Oh, sorry. I was listening to bands like, there's a Swedish death metal band called Van Held that I'm really a big fan of, and I'm still to this day. They got me into death metal, so I was listening a lot to death metal, a lot to black metal as well. I'm obsessed with Satyricon and the live record. Yeah, it's so good, and especially the live recording from the Opera House in Sweden, in Norway. Sorry,
amazing.
It's wow, so beautiful.
Frost to me is the best drummer. I love him.
He is. He's insane. He's like a machine.
Amazing. Amazing. And the 1349 stuff as well. Brilliant.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
So with all the metal side, what's your musical guilty pleasure? What don't you tell people apart from me, which I won't tell anyone, I promise? What do you listen to?
I like everything.
Oh, really?
I mean,
An all-rounder.
everything, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah, no, of course not.
It's no, it's like it could be hip hop, it could be rap, it could be K-pop, it could be classical music, it could be
Music's
anything.
music, yeah.
Music is music, and I don't condemn anyone for listening to a lot of different genres. I mean,
Of course.
it's boring just to listen to one genre. I mean, I need inspiration from everything, and I don't always want to listen to extreme metal music. Sometimes I just want to put on a love song if I want to.
Isn't Aqua Danish?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, what's the best thing that's happened to the band so far, and what has been your favorite experience?
I think the playing the 10 shows on a release tour 2 years ago for Puritan Masochism, we went around for 10 days in Europe. And of course, it was a short tour, but it was just amazing coming out to meet people, because sitting at home and not playing, it's not that fun. You need to come out and see people and meet them, and it was the best experience ever. I mean, we were all like completely stunned. We were really tired, but it was just the best feeling ever. And then doing it with your good friends and just traveling, and then just having all these experiences and learning a lot of new people, getting to meet a lot of new people, it's the best thing. It's what I want to do,
Of course.
forever.
Now, what's on the band's bucket list? I mean, show-wise aspirations. I mean, do you fancy tapping into your fellow countryman Lars for a support slot?
I don't see that happening.
Hey, it happened for Bacassa. Bacassa did it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I never say never. Never say never. But
No, go on.
no, I think it's.
What aspirations do you have? Where do you want to be? What one thing will happen? Then you go, that's it. Bloody done it. You know.
It will probably be like going on a long tour, like 3 months or something, and maybe definitely coming to the UK for a longer time, and definitely going to the US.
Yeah.
And we want to go to Asia and South America as well. I mean, we've gotten opportunities that we just couldn't say yes to. So we know it's going to happen at some point. And then also we have like one band goal. It's like kind of like a joke, but we really want to do it. It's 70,000 tons of metal.
Yeah,
of
course.
Metal cruise.
Of course. I was going as a fan. Never mind, play it. Christ.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just want to sit in a hot tub and sip pina coladas and
but then have a
listen
gig that
to
night.
all the other bands, and
Amazing.
then just go on stage in the evening.
Amazing, amazing. Now, did I see, talking about drinking, did I see that you've got a beer named after you?
A beer? No. It's probably going to be, there's going to be a beer named after us, but it's only going to be for the release party we're doing at the Danish bar War Pigs in Copenhagen.
Okay, that's disappointing. I thought you were going to have like some kind of like roll out of Konvent Beer, barrels of it on
No.
tour. You never know. You can do that. That'll be one of my aspirations if I was still in a band. That's for sure. Now, now you're heading on a large European tour in April. Now, I've just seen that the Ukrainians, 1914, and label mates are unfortunately, obviously, not going to be joining you. Devastating, right?
No. Completely devastating. I mean, we've all thought about it ever since we saw. I mean, we were told the day before the invasion happened, we knew that 1914 was a little bit worried about whether or not they could do it. And then we just woke up the next morning to the worst news ever. And I think we've all cried and been extremely upset about this, because it's so horrible thinking about all these people that are affected by this and how long it's going to be. And it's just incredible that we live in a world where a completely crazy guy from Russia can set the world order for some reason suddenly.
No.
And hopefully he doesn't get to do that for a very long time. And then the world can go back to being a more peaceful place, because the Ukrainians have not deserved what they're going through. And I hope this ends really soon.
Same, of course. Now, on a positive note, I love this. You have great family support with tour help from your mum driving and helping you sell the merch. How important is it to have this kind of support? It must be fantastic. And are they fans?
Yes, my mom was the first one to hear the Konvent songs when we rehearsed them in 2015 and 16. So, and she's been like a big support, and the rest with all her family and friends as well. They're always the first to buy the records pre-order and buy tickets, and yeah, and she's really devastated right now that she couldn't go along with us because she just want to go on all the tours now. So she's got a taste for it. For the rock life.
Fantastic. I love it. Now, from all your tracks, what one track sums the band up the best in your opinion?
The best track of us?
Yeah, just like if someone said to you, who are Konvent, what do they do? Which track would you reach out and play on?
I would probably choose Grains.
Yeah, I love that track.
Yeah, the first single.
Yeah, it's a great track.
Because
great video as well.
Thank you so much. No, Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. Now, finally, Heidi, describe the band in 3 words.
Heavy.
Tick.
Fierce.
Tick.
And brutal.
Like it. Big tick. Heidi, thanks so much for joining me on the show tonight. Good luck with the album, the tours ahead. I wish you continued success.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this interview.